It's Rick back for Pixi Dust Designs. Today we're using the Vintage Truck Autumn Accessories add-on and the step-up card dies. I have already cut the card base from some brown cardstock, and I'm just folding those score lines now that the die creates to create the step-up card. It was super easy to do. You do need a 6" by 8 3/4" piece of cardstock to run through your die cutting machine to create the card base, and it is a slightly over an A2 size card once finished with everything on it. I'm coming through and adding some ink blending around the sides of the panel to add a little bit more interest to the card base. So it's just to make it super easy. I'm also adding a little ink blending around all the other pieces that I've cut out with different color cardstocks. This is my little sentiment panel. I did cut some pumpkins from the Vintage Autumn Accessory dies because we're going to make a nice little fall scene. So the first thing we're going to do is take the panel that has the stitching for the card step-up die and add that in, and make sure your glue is dry. So we're going to go ahead and put that down, and make sure you hang out to the end because I'm going to announce the winner for the September commenting for the winner for the commenting of September of the $20 gift voucher. So stick around to the end for that, and I will let you know who won that and how to redeem it, or not redeem it, but how to claim it. So we're just going on, and we are adding our top of our door. This is the window for the top of the door, so we'll just add those 3 layers together. And now I'm going to add on the other layer for the window. I've just cut that from some brown cardstock and some yellow cardstock. So we're just going to add little bits of glue and pop those in. That is from the step-up card die. This is from the Autumn Accessory dies, our pumpkins. So I'm just adding those together, the layers for that. And then we're going to add the little stem for this one. And we're also going to create the Scarecrow and some other elements for a great fall scene. So we're going to go ahead and finish up our pumpkins, adding that the next size up for the little oval for that, and our little stem. And we're just going to layer everything up together. And I'm just going to pinch those into place. They go super easily into place with the dies cuts. I was super happy with that. This is the smallest pumpkin. I did zoom in just a little bit for y'all. And we're going to go ahead and add that stem in. I found it easier to add the center part in first and then add the stem because there's no need to, they don't have to tuck. Now for our little Scarecrow, I'm going to start off by adding his face. I did go around the edges with the ink to add a little texture to that. So we're adding his little face in. You are going to want, when you're putting this together, you're going to want some kind of tweezers or a pickup stick or both. I used both because I found some parts I needed the pickup stick and some parts I could do with the tweezers. So I'm adding his little hat on at the top. And now I'm going to add the straw for his feet and his hands. And there are certain ones that go on certain sides. So you want to be careful when you're putting this together to make sure you get the right one in place. First time I put this together, I did not get it all in the right order. So I had to go back and tear it apart and fix it. All right, so we're putting this little right hand on. For me, it says right. And then we're going to put his little other hand on. And then we're going to add his shirt. So I've just cut that from some red cardstock. And I'm just going to line those up. It's super easy to line up. Just make sure you don't wiggle it like I did when you're putting it together, because it will get out of place and you won't even notice. Now for his little pants, I'm going to add his little pants on. I decided to give him some little blue jeans. And then we're going to add his the patches for his shirt. I just pick a place where I want the patches to be, and I add them to where I want. There's 2 different dies in the set that cut the patches, or there's one die that cuts 2 different styles of patches. And I used both of them a couple times. So I'm going to add his little hat band on here to his little hat. That's actually cut out with the face I believe, if I remember correctly. Now for that, I'm going to add in just liquid glue into the little openings. And this is where I'm going to use my pickup stick and pop in my little eyes and the eyebrows and his little mouth. You could totally like color them if you wanted to. I've done that before, where I just colored in the openings and didn't have to worry about gluing it. I'm going to get his other little eyebrow in here and pop it into place. And then I'm going to move on to adding another little patch on his little hat. I just thought it was cute and I had an extra patch, so why not? So now we're going to do our little apple barrel. And now this, I thought I was doing this correctly, but I started out by putting the wrong stripes, or I don't know what those are called. They look like, they're not stripes. They're supposed to be little parts that hold the basket together. I can't remember what those are called. I got them reversed. This is where I realized I did it wrong, because I started noticing my round part was up at the top and it should have been at the bottom. Pay attention, and y'all, and when y'all putting this together, and don't be like me. So I went ahead and added the last one. I made it work. We're going to add the little part across the middle. I did not add, that's the top part. I didn't add the little handle and the little metal part for the handle. I opted to go without it this time. I thought it was perfectly fine without it. And I'm going to add my little Scarecrow to his little stick. And I just add a little bit of glue right up the center and line him up and pop him right into place. Now we're back to our step-up card. This is the part of the roof. This is the part that makes it a little bit over 4 1/4. If you leave this off, it's going to fit into a regular A2 envelope. But with this on there, it's just slightly over. So you could easily put it in a 5x7 envelope or something like that and be perfectly fine. But they fit right into place. You have the etched lines the die creates that tells you where to put everything in, and they just line up nice and perfectly. Now, to attach this on, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm only going to put glue where they are going to attach to the card base. And I'm just going to line that up right up against the scored line at the top and fold it over, and everything's perfectly good. We're going to go ahead and add our door on. And I did bring this down up a little bit higher than what it needed to be, because instead of 1 layer of grass in the front, I'm adding 2. I'm going to go ahead and put in my other window. Now I'm going to add my grass. I'm going to start off with the yellow one that I did add ink blending to the top of both of those. I did show how to do that. And then we're going to add our little olive green section. I couldn't decide if I wanted to make it hay or grass, but we know in the fall, grass changes color. Now for this row of grass, I'm adding the green in the front and offsetting it slightly. This actually goes behind the step-up part of the card, and you just kind of pop it right into place, just like that, behind the step-up part. And it just adds that little bit of definition in there. Now for our little Scarecrow, I'm going to add to the front. Flip that over so that I could see where the glue would overhang. And I got a little overzealous here, y'all, and kind of made it slip, and so I had to readjust everything. So I had to go back in and move it and clean up where any glue got spilled over. Now I'm going to add my apple basket in, and I'm going to add that with some very thin foam tape. I'm just going to take a couple pieces and put on there, and I'm going to pop that on. I left room at the top so I could add my apples so that they look like they're sticking out. And I did not even bother putting the stems on the apples. It actually is cut out with the die that does the stems for the pumpkins. And I just never put them on there. I don't know why. Now we're going to decorate and add some little fall leaves. I cut them from some red cardstock and some brown cardstock. And I'm going to use some of those leaves as embellishments that I will show you shortly. So I'm just kind of scattering those leaves around in the grass to make it a nice little fall scene. And we are going to add in our sentiment, I got one more leaf here to put it right there. And I forgot to trim that one off, and I needed to. It really didn't affect the card. So now we're going to add our pumpkins. I'm going to take the 2 larger ones and glue them straight to the card front. over on the step-up side. And then the smallest one, I'm going to pop up with a foam square to give it a little bit of dimension. So I just popped a little foam square on there, popped it on the card, and there we go. All right, now we're going to add our sentiment. It's going to say harvest time. I'm going to attach this. The H and the T are all separate from the sentiment, and the other letters are by themselves. So this is the other part of the harvest, the ARVEST, and I cut this from glitter cardstock, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach those right close together. And then I'm going to attach my T. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and add liquid glue behind there, and I'm going to open this up to add the T and the time in there. And sometimes I find it easier to turn the cardstock around to get everything lined up. So now we're going to add the IME for our time. And then I'm going to add my little embellishment pieces. I cut some gold glitter leaves. And so that's what I'm going to use as an embellishment for this card. And I'm just going to pop them around. I only did 3 because, we got to have an odd number. So I'm going to pop this other one right here by the Scarecrow. And then I'm going to finish off by adding some white gel pen highlights to the card. And y'all know I get a little overzealous with my highlights. But I added them anywhere I thought there would be a reflection onto, especially anything that should have been metal or in the door. And I'm just adding those in. And that, after I add a few more little highlights right here, I can't stop myself. I start, and then I'm like, oh, I need one more right here, like right there. So I've added that highlight in, and now there's a look at the card. You can open it up. It stands up all by itself. It was super easy. There's a look at the other card. Now is the time that you've all been waiting for. We're going to get to the winner of the September $20 gift certificate, and it is Miss Della Barnes. You can email that email address to claim your gift voucher. Have a great day, y'all.